Welcome everybody to the Care First Zest webinar. My name is Jack Walsh, Service Manager at Care First, and I'll be running through this session with you today to talk through the Zest Health and Wellbeing app and platform. Everybody has access to Zest through the Care First Lifestyle website. There is a generic code for everybody to get onto it and do the Wellbeing Assessment tool, which we'll look at in a few moments' time. But also we'll be looking at the other functionality of the app, which you may have access to through your organisation, or you might have access to it away from Care First, as sometimes people have Zest already. So please do bear that in mind moving forwards. And if you have any questions, please feel free to pop them into the questions pane. I'll be able to address these and go through them at the end, and we can jump back to any slides and go over any things that you might have missed or might need me to clarify as we move forwards. But just a little bit about Zest. Zest is a health and wellbeing platform which complements the employee assistance program that we provide to your organisation. So it's predominantly looking at the physical wellbeing and physical health aspects of our life, but it does have some overlap into our mental wellbeing and mental health as well. And hopefully we'll see those similarities and links as we move through the session. And the Zest app itself is accessible via Android or iOS smart devices, as well as being able to use it as a desktop function on your laptop or computer. But we do recommend trying to use it as an app because it tends to be the most user-friendly way of accessing it, and also the most accessible in terms of you can keep it with you on your device and update it on a regular basis. So when you first go to the Care First app or Care First website, likely your organisation will have a unique URL for it, or you'll be able to access it through the Care First Lifestyle website. But when you do, you'll hit the landing page where you can register or log in if you already have an account, and you'll have a unique code to register with. So if you're logging in through the Lifestyle website, the code is going to be CFL and the number 1, but your organisation may have a dedicated code for you, which might have a little bit more functionality than the Lifestyle website. You set up your own account with your own personal credentials, so you don't have to use your work email address, and all of the data is stored securely and safely, and you'll see all the privacy agreements, etc., before you sign up, so you can make your own decision of whether you want to do that. And when you first sign up to the Zest Wellbeing app, you'll go through the initial profile setup. So this is all about getting to know you as an individual, finding out a bit more about your your physical attributes. So it might look at your gender. It will also ask questions around your height, your weight, your waist size, things like that. And all of that is all around kind of allowing the app to predict and determine things like BMI and wellbeing scores based on you as an individual. So it tries to tailor it as much as it can to yourself, rather than being kind of generic information and generic suggestions for everybody. Once you've set up your initial profile, you're ready to go and start using the app. And the first thing you're going to see once you've done that is the Wellbeing dashboard, which is going to be completely blank, and it now gives you the opportunity to complete the sections and start setting goals, tracking things, but also to go through the Wellbeing assessment initially to get your Wellbeing score. So as you can see, our Wellbeing score is 0, so we need to assess our Wellbeing and start to see where we're at. The Wellbeing assessment is a really nice, simple visual tool to gauge that. You answer questions around 10 areas of your wellbeing, and those areas include things such as activity, sleep, caffeine intake, do you smoke, how much alcohol do you have, do you have money worries, those sorts of things. And depending on the answers to those questions, we will then get an overall wellbeing score. So we can see on this section that we've got an overall wellbeing score of 66, and each bar on the chart gives us a visual representation of maybe how good we are in certain aspects of our wellbeing, or maybe areas that we need to improve. So to begin with, our wellbeing assessment here is pretty good, and it's starting at 55. But straight away, I can see that the yellow bar top right, just after kind of midday, if you're looking at a clock, and that's the activity bar, and that's a little bit low. And also my sleep bar, the red one, kind of diagonally bottom right, around the kind of 4 or 5 o'clock mark, if you're looking at a clock, that's a little bit low as well. So although my overall wellbeing is pretty good, I can see straight away that those are 2 areas that I might want to look at starting to work on and improve initially. So I've got that visual representation, and there's lots of things throughout the app that I can use to address those things. So one of those things might be goals. So I can choose a goal, I can set a goal. It might be around getting active, or I can actually choose to set a goal within that particular area that I want to improve. So as we can see on the tile to the top left, I've got my 10 areas of well-being, and I've got my sleep one. So I could choose a sleep goal to set, and then from there I can set that goal, and obviously I can try and achieve it. And there's lots of research and studies around kind of goal setting and targets being really, really good for our positive mental well-being, because it helps us to achieve things a lot quicker when we've actually got those goals kind of set down or written down or visually in front of us. So as you can see a little bit more on the goals here, we've got getting active, or it might be around healthy breakfast. Getting an early night could be my first one to address my sleep, or it might be swapping caffeine for water. So, you know, I might swap 6 caffeine drinks for 6 waters. So far I've done 3, but my target is 6, so I'm halfway there. So that's just kind of those regular messages to stay on top of my goal setting. And alongside the goals, there's also a section called logbook. And the logbook is where we can keep track of things like our diet and what we're having. So if we want to kind of calorie count or be mindful of what food we're taking in, then we can do that. And I believe you can add certain things like meals you've eaten out at. So you can add Nando's meals and things like that, and it actually adds the calorie counts in for you, rather than just saying, I've had a chicken sandwich, or I've had a vegetable curry or something like that. And also, we're logging things like our weight and our waist size as well. So again, we can work towards kind of addressing those or monitoring those if that's something we want to look at as well. So as I said, it will help us to keep track of things. We can see kind of graphs and visual representations of how we're doing or how we're progressing. It can provide us nutritional breakdown around everything we eat, and help keep track of our BMI as well. So yeah, just to kind of give you a bit more information around the logbook and how that can help alongside the goals. And another thing that's really, really useful within the app is badges and incentives. So naturally, as well as setting a goal, we want to have some sort of achievement, or that kind of feel-good feeling that we're achieving something, or we're gaining something or winning something. So by setting goals and targets and hitting them, we get badges and things within the app. So we can kind of tot up our badges and our things that we're winning, and that might be something that we can compare and challenge each other on in the community section, which we'll look at in a little bit. So we get a new badge for every milestone. It can be really useful for helping to encourage us to stay on top of our goal setting and goal achieving. One of the things I personally really like about this app, there's 2 main things really, and this is one of them, is the program section. Now, sometimes we might want to address our physical or mental well-being, but we don't know where to start. We're not a fitness guru, or we've not really been in the gym before and things like that, and it can be quite daunting. Where do I start? What do I do? How do I do it? Sort of thing. But the program section is really useful for this, as it contains a lot of different exercises and tips. So not just around physical activity, but also meditation, stretching, stuff like that. As you can see from the tiles, there's some stuff around body weight exercises, but there's also some things around relaxation and relaxing at your desk. So not just things to do when you're active and exercising, but also things to do whilst you're kind of in a rest period, or while you're working, to stay on top of your physical well-being. And what I really like about the program section is, if I complete the health and well-being assessment, and say, for example, activity, like it was at the beginning, was quite low, as I start to update that week by week and my activity level increases on the wellbeing assessment, so will the programs. So as I start to get fitter, the programs will start to intensify, and they might start off quite easy, they'll move to moderate, and then they'll move to intense. So they kind of match my fitness levels as they increase as well. So it's not just the same old exercises all the time. Lots of different new ones are popping up as our activity level changes within the wellbeing assessment. So that's something I really like about the Zest app. So we can tailor things, and we can tailor programs, and Zest will even advise on those difficulty ratings, like I've said. So it is kind of like having like a digital personal trainer in there, and you can select the exercises that you like to feature in your program. So although it might suggest some, there might be some you like more than others. So you can not follow the ones you don't like, and it'll build a picture of what you like to do and what you relate to. The community section is something where you can share updates and share information. So you can link your Zest account to others. So it might be a team or a department or a colleague, and you can share posts. So you can say, you might have just done this activity, or you might have just reach this goal, or you want to do a group challenge together and that sort of thing. So you can do that in the community section, and me personally, I always find a lot more encouragement in working out or exercising with other people, be it at the same time or both working towards the same goal. So that kind of community program here allows you to achieve your goals collectively, share updates, share positive messages and encouragement with each other as well. So that's a really good aspect of the app as well. And the second section of the app, which I in particular really like and enjoy, is the resources section. So the resources section for me has got so much content and information in there, which is really useful. It has information, podcasts, articles, videos on healthy eating, physical activity, mindfulness, things, lots of different things as a spin-off to those three areas. But you can also search for particular content. So for example, if you're in a role which is shift-based, or maybe you work nights or varying shifts on a week-to-week basis, if you were to type the word shift into the search bar, it will bring up lots of articles and information on considerations around shift working. So it might be how to maintain good sleep patterns or sleep during shift work, how to stay on top of a balanced diet during shift work, etc. Because sometimes it can be really difficult to stay on top of those two things, as an example. So this is a section I really like, because there's so much content in there, and it's regularly updated by the developers of Zest. So there's always new things going in there. So yeah, definitely would encourage you to have a little look at that. The recipes are really good as well. What I do find is with healthy recipes, they take a little bit longer to make than your kind of fast food stuff. But I think that's the trade-off, isn't it? In terms of the good stuff, that's better for you. Maybe takes a little bit more time to do. But the recipe section allows you to have a look at recipes of various different things. So it could be gluten-free, it could be vegan, it could be vegetarian, that sort of thing. So there's definitely something in there for everybody. So definitely would encourage to have a look at that section as well. So just as a bit of a recap, Zest is a health and wellbeing tool which hopefully gives you information and support to make positive changes in your lifestyle, physically, but also mentally, as mental and physical health have a direct correlation. It's all about kind of helping you manage things and lead a healthier lifestyle, and maybe identifying areas of your life that need some focus. And hopefully, we'll be helping people to, assess and improve well-being, reach targets, get fitter, and also manage things like stress and pressure and anxiety and stuff like that. There's lots of suggestions and research out there that a lot of things around physical activity and exercise can be really useful to stay on top of our mental well-being, and even help with things like anxiety and depression as well. So we definitely see it as a really good support mechanism alongside the counselling support or information support that you might tap into Care First EAP for more regularly. So that's everything from me. Hopefully informative and useful to find out a little bit more about Zest and what the app can do and how it can help you. Like I said at the start, everybody can access Zest and the health and wellbeing assessment. There may be some additional functionality that your organization has access to with a unique code, but obviously just want to make that clear so everybody knows what they're accessing and can access moving forwards. Your unique code for accessing Zest will be obtainable from either your HR or your manager, or you can get in touch with the Care First service, and a counsellor or information specialist can share that with you over the phone. All you need to do is let them know where you're calling from, and you want to check if you've got a Zest code you can access. But if you go onto the lifestyle portal, again, those login details can be shared by your manager, HR, or by our service when you're calling up. There is the Zest access through the lifestyle portal, just a little bit down the page on the right hand side, and there'll be a generic code for accessing it, which is CFL and the number 1, which gives everybody access to that wellbeing assessment. So you can all have a little look at that and hopefully address anything and identify anything in your lifestyle you might want to improve. Just a big thank you to everybody who's joined the session. If you wanted to access the app, the name of the app in your app store is CF Zest. So that's Charlie Foxtrot and space followed by the word Zest, but you want to obtain the unique code or the demo code before you go onto it. I haven't got the codes with me right now because there's so many different codes for different organizations. So if you do have access to one, you'll need to speak to your HR or manager or speak to the service to obtain it from our counselling centre. But if you don't have it and you know your organization doesn't have Zest, then the CFL1 code can be used by anybody to access the wellbeing assessment. Yep, so I'll just post the name of the app in the chat box. It is CF Zest, so apologies if my audio cut out. But if you just search in your smart devices app store, CF Zest, you should be able to download it. And I'll also post the demo code, or the wellbeing assessment code, I should call it. So when you download the Zest app and you click register, you'll be encouraged to enter a referral code. The CFL1 code is the wellbeing assessment section, but your organization may have its own unique code, which I would encourage you to check your HR manager or with our service directly to get it from our counsellors, because there's a number of different codes and we haven't got them on this call because we've got a number of organizations who can join this session. I'll hang around for a few moments just in case there's any more questions, but apart from that, thanks very much for joining today. Thank you for the positive feedback and for the few questions, and I'll hang around now just in case there's anybody typing frantically away in the worry that I'm going to end the session now.